everyone. The regular meeting of the Romeo Planning Commission for March 5, 2020 will come to order, please. We'll start with roll call.
Stegner?
Here.
Grandstaff?
Here.
Fowler?
Yes.
Webb?
Here.
Hall?
Here.
Foltz?
Here.
Luther?
Here.
Trubovich?
Okay, we'll begin with the approval of the agenda. Has everyone looked at the agenda? Any
So moved.
additions, comments?
So moved.
I'll second.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let's see, what's that? Approval of the meetings from minutes from our last meeting. Everybody had a chance to look at those? Motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, unanimous. All right, so now we move on to our public forum. Anybody have anything to say? No? Okay, let's go then to the agenda. First item on the agenda is AT&T Mobility Site Plan Approval. Has everybody looked at these very thorough site plan papers? Any questions? Mr. Casson has looked at this. The applicant, Edward Block, GPD Group, you, sir?
I'm Nick Brian Monahan. I'm an attorney with AT&T Mobility.
Okay.
Familiar with Mr. Block, however, he did put together the site plan, but for the last 3 or 4 pages of it, which you're your own consultant.
Yes. Okay, so Mr. Casson put together a paper which I'll read for everybody without stumbling, I hope, because I'm a terrible reader. The applicant representing AT&T Mobility is proposing to install an antenna on the top of the village water tower. In addition, they intend to install a 49 square foot equipment structure, 10 feet in height, and 24 square foot generator, 7 feet in height, inside the southwest corner of the water tower fence enclosure. The installation of the antenna requires the approval of the village council. However, section 4651 of the Romeo zoning ordinance specifically states that public utility electronic enclosures are subject to site plan review and approval by the planning commission. The utility enclosure, which contains the equipment, structure, and generator, meet all requirements of the Village of Romeo zoning ordinance pertaining to setbacks and height. The zoning ordinance indicates that the planning commission may require landscaping to ensure that the equipment would blend in quotes for some reason, with the surrounding area. It would be my suggestion that the planning commission consider requesting that the applicant provide landscaping outside of the fence enclosure adjacent to the equipment structure and generator so as to limit visibility from adjacent properties. The proposed equipment structure and generator meet all zoning ordinance requirements and are ideally located within the existing water tower fence enclosure. In this regard, I recommend approval of the site plan as submitted with consideration for landscaping being installed, subject to compliance with all village building, engineering, and fire department regulations. Respectfully submitted, Steve N. Casson. Okay, any commentary on this site plan?
I'd like to make a motion that I think Mr. Casson hit it right on the head. Started with the landscaping
Okay.
to make sure it doesn't affect the surrounding areas. So the last part of what you read, that would be my motion.
So you want to state that your motion is
Indicating
that we approve the site plan
Correct, with the,
with consideration for landscaping.
yes.
I'll second that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. So that passes. Okay, good. That's it.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Village of Romeo sign regulation is next on our agenda. We have a draft here written by Mr. Casson again. Has everybody had a chance to look at it?
Oh, yeah.
Review it? Any comments?
I've got a couple.
Okay.
On page 2, item number 6, changeable electronic message reader board. I hate to even see that come in the village.
Is that, okay,
That's one step from a flashing sign. I don't want us to become the Las Vegas of the East here,
I don't know
but
much chance of that, but
it's the, that really, I don't think we should even allow that.
It was in the previous ordinance not to allow it. I'm glad you pointed this out, but I missed this one. This must be a new change to it. 'Cause
So I would like to see
I
that.
think the dentist's office down on Van Dyke, a couple of years ago, requested
Yeah.
the exact same thing. I think that at that time,
Yeah,
it wasn't your comment, it was another comment from a board member, the same exact thing is.
and then on,
To
I'm sorry.
get to that point to where we're flashing neon signs in the village.
Well, this is under the definitions. It just is defining what a changeable sign is under prohibited. It says signs which are flashing, animated, or moving, or scrolling is prohibited, so I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
yeah, it's just a definition. It's not an allowable sign.
Page 4 under prohibited.
Yeah, okay. Prohibited signs, page 4. It's under there, Bill.
Yeah, designed to clutter or move.
Yeah, number 2.
So is this like?
The number 2 on page 4, the second one over there.
Understand, we're not approving this, we're just telling council that we reviewed it and passed it along. Any other comments?
Can
Or
I-
questions?
Can I keep going?
Sure.
I've got a couple, 3 here if I could.
Go ahead.
On page 3, inflatable signs and mechanical signs, I think we need some sort of time limit on those. A inflatable sign for maybe like a 2-week period, yeah, or something like that, for a new business or a special event, but to have a continual use of that type of signage, I think we shouldn't allow it.
Right. That's still a definition again,
Yep.
so it is prohibited.
I think there's one more.
Inflatables are permitted under.
Where does it say that it's no prohibited?
Let's see.
Inflatables are permitted on page 9,
Under what circumstances?
page 9, page 9E.
9E,
And that's under a temporary sign.
temporaries. We don't have, okay. Does he? Okay, temporary sign.
On page 10,
Yeah,
Well, it
but
does,
on
we need definition of time.
item I.
I think we're still on this one here.
Oh, I thought,
No, we're still here. But it does say that you can't use it for longer than 15 days.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
That's under 9C. That's under temporary, right?
Yep.
There it is, yeah. So they're allowable for 15 days. Twice.
Twice in 1 year.
Twice in 1 year. You still object? So 30 days out of the year, broken in half.
I object to it completely, but I understand that it's a means of advertising that some people use, and with that restriction on it, I think
You can live with it?
I think I have to live with it, so.
Okay, so our task is to just pass this along to council and let them know that we've reviewed it and everything is okay with us.
Are you still going?
Yeah, I've got,
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were done.
I'm sorry, I'm
Apologize.
awake now, let me go, okay? On page 10, the last item, I, can we have the attorney look at this to make sure that that would hold up in court? Or are we gonna get sued if someone, liability for damage and injury? Normally they go after the deepest pockets, and normally we would be brought into most suits, but I think we need to have the attorney look at that and make sure that wordage is such that we're covered.
It probably covers it in the statement they have to sign.
What's that?
It's probably covered in the statement that they have to sign.
Yeah, they probably don't have all the legal mumbo jumbo in here.
Yeah, I just, I'm just concerned that we are covering ourselves as far as legally to make sure we can avoid being involved in a lawsuit.
I think that'll go into the statement. That's probably all legalese, and that'd probably be good. Thank you.
We didn't talk about this with Steve, not this.
I don't have a copy in front of me, so I'm not sure what that paragraph is, so, no, it's okay. You can just, yeah, read it out loud, or, paragraph I.
Yes.
I mean, I agree that whatever is in the statement, but I can certainly, point that out to Mark and see if he would suggest any alternate language, but, yeah, it seems like
That or
that's
the,
probably gonna be on the
whatever they
application.
sign is legally taking
Right.
us out of being involved in court.
I mean, it clearly states that if whatever they sign, they're accepting all liability and releasing the village from any damages. So we'll just make sure that it covers our bases, for
Yeah,
sure.
if requested. Yeah, it says if requested, so maybe just take out the word if, just make it mandatory.
If requested,
As far as the, if requested by the village, or the owner of the sign, so
Every time they do it,
Yeah.
they should sign something.
just make it mandatory that they automatically provide insurance and liability.
My last question is on page 15, item H, non-conforming signs. once we issue a permit for a non-conforming sign, is there a time limit on it, or can we stipulate that a permit must be renewed? If we have a
Go back
non-conforming
to
sign,
page 10 there.
I would like for us to explore that. I don't know. To me, a non-conforming sign is a temporary type sign, or a sign that is not meeting our complete criteria. So I think we need to be able to say, okay, hey, it's been 5 years, we've got to do something
I
here.
think most permits are only valid for a certain length of time once somebody asks for a permit. I would have to check on what that is. You know, a building permit isn't just open-ended. They have a certain amount of time to, 1 year to accommodate that. If I'm not mistaken, again, I don't have it in front of me, but the non-conforming sign issue, we have non-conforming signs all over the central business district. And the problem was, people wanted to repair them or take them down, update them so that they were safe. And under the old ordinance, if you removed that sign, non-conforming sign, you were not allowed to put a sign back up. So you can't take it down and have it repainted, right? If you've got a bracket that's rusted and it needs to be re-welded, you can't take it down and have the repair made and put it back up. Once you removed it from the building, you had to bring it totally into compliance with the current ordinance. And for me, when we looked at this, safety was a bigger issue than forcing a building owner to have new signage made all the time for a maintenance issue. So that's why we looked at the non-conforming portion of it.
Good.
So they can't put up a new non-conforming sign, right? They just can't create something that's not in the guidelines. That section only applies to them if they have an existing sign and they need to remove it. But if we need to put a limit of time, we can make sure that the permit specifies that it's got to be installed within a reasonable amount of time, and I can figure out what that is.
Can we
That's
put
your
the word
concern.
repair in there anywhere? Which would comply with exactly what you're talking about, where they could take it down, fix it up, repair
I think it
whatever.
does. It does say for maintenance, upkeep. Again, I apologize for that.
Yeah, it says servicing, there's a painting, servicing,
Right.
cleaning, minor repairs to non-conforming signs shall be permitted.
That would cover the removal, as you said, so we shouldn't be that hard on if they're attempting to fix up their sign or update their sign, as long as they're servicing that sign on the building.
And if the permit's only good for a year, then it can't be out that long.
There are limitations on a non-conforming permit.
I don't know what our current sign permit specifies, so I will have to look at that. I know our regular permits, building permits and such, have a time limit on them, so
Right.
I don't have any reason to think that a sign permit wouldn't have that same limitation, but again, we can just make sure that it does. Because we're drafting new sign fees, you know, when they come in for that permit, so we're gonna revamp that whole application anyway with the fees that we charge for it, so we can just make sure that it's for whatever reasonable amount of time you want to suggest. If you think a year is acceptable, I think 6 months is fine. I mean, I can't imagine somebody needing to take down their sign and it take, you know, that long to get it fixed up and put back up. I would hate to see some sort of, you know, brackets sticking out and just subject to weather, I don't know. But I think it's a reasonable request to put a time limit on it.
Do you need a permit to repair,
You need a permit for signs, yes.
to do repair and maintenance?
Yes. Mhm. Yep.
6 months, I should be able to whittle something out of wood, yeah.
Any other comments? Somebody want to make a motion that we inform council that we have reviewed this and we're passing it along to them? Should we say, ask them to pay special attention to item I, page 10? Somebody want to make that motion?
For the word if.
Second,
I think you gotta make the motion first. I'll make the motion.
We'll go backwards.
Yeah.
Jay makes a motion. You second? All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All opposed? No opposition to that. Okay, two things down. Now, what do they do with my unfinished business? At our last meeting, we were going to vote Cindy in, right here on my left, as zoning administrator. A motion was made and seconded, and we never voted. How'd that happen?
Cause you said that we didn't need to make that, didn't do that, so you shut it down pretty much, that's what happened.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Why did I say that? What was my stupid reason?
And if we needed, then we dug up something from 1988 or something around Russell. And
Oh, I know
Still
what happened.
confused.
Yeah, I recall what happened, but, okay, let's go ahead and do it anyway.
So
Second.
Make a motion,
the
Fowler.
motion was made,
Second,
right?
yeah, he made
Yeah,
the
but-
motion.
Well, I made the motion then, and then,
I
Okay,
seconded.
then you seconded.
Yeah.
God.
okay.
All in favor of Cindy being the zoning administrator, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No oppositions.
Where's the graffiti? We gotta have, the, you know.
What?
Pop the cork,
Oh, no.
Champagne's in
I
our
still,
room.
I still have questions about this, but
got
anyway.
the trunk of the car.
That's good because she just completed her training on BSNA for the building module from a week. So this lady has been, studying a computer screen and a manual. It's amazing. So she's going to do a great job.
So, next, we're gonna take a look at our bylaws. There's a couple things we can change tonight, and then we'll keep hacking away at it. Our meeting time,
Yeah.
how did that not get changed? Okay, it says 7:30 on the first Tuesday of each month, but it's Thursday. So I'm gonna make a motion that we change that Tuesday to Thursday. Any seconds?
Can we change the time to 7, back to what it was? And can we,
It's not, I don't ever remember it being 7.
You know, it's always 7:30.
Maybe
Was it?
decades
Yeah,
ago.
council
maybe.
changed theirs to 7.
Yeah. Village.
What
the meeting-
Isn't everything else at
7:30, And I said the same thing. I'm like,
What-
it starts at 7:30. There's a reason why people can't get home from work, finish their dinner, and then get here. Well, I thought 7 was reasonable. Council thought 7 was reasonable. That's why we made the change. If that doesn't work for this board, then that's certainly your decision. I think that having a consistent meeting time for all municipal meetings is helpful, so that people show up there.
I don't know how they're related, but I don't care. So, anybody want to change the time? That's
I'll make the motion to change the time to 7 PM.
I'll second.
second. All in favor? Well, that's 3 of us, so. All opposed? No, all opposed?
Some opposed.
Who's opposed to that time? Nobody.
Nobody?
Okay, so the time is now 7 o'clock Thursdays, first Thursday of the month. All right, so also, Ms. Trapp would like us to change some language. Where is this? Suggested inserts, section 3.5, suggested insert way down on the second page, 3.5. The planning commission shall be assisted by the village clerk or zoning administrator. There's 3 instances in 3 paragraphs of village clerk. She would like that removed. That's
What section?
What are we doing?
section, I got a bad.
3.5, you say?
Section 3.5, and then Ms. Hall has put some inserts in. And at the very bottom of the next page, there are 3 paragraphs. The pages aren't numbered, so, well, yes, they are, 4. Page 4, odd place.
Mine are numbered. All right, we're on section 3.5, but we're on the page after that.
Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't bring my copy with me, so it says, either you? Okay.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, the village
Yeah.
clerk is
Suggested insert section, well, 4, I have it crossed out. Suggested insert section 4, duties of the zoning administrator and planning consultant. The planning commission shall be assisted by the village clerk or zoning administrator and planning consultant, in performing the planning commission's duties as noted in section 3. The village clerk or zoning administrator and planning consultant shall be responsible for the professional administrative work in coordinating the functions of the planning commission. The village clerk or planning administrator shall, Ms. Trapp would like village clerk removed.
Can I make a comment?
You sure can.
That was put in there because at the point in time when that was done, you didn't have a zoning administrator
Okay,
designated. That's why village
so
clerk.
now we have one. Her name is Cindy Wills.
And off of what she just said there, so currently, the planning consultant is not in the bylaws, correct?
Well,
Just the village.
No.
Currently, it is not in the bylaws.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so,
These are suggestions from
Oh,
us.
these suggestions.
We're still, and some of it's been adopted.
but the planning consultant is not in the bylaws.
No, that's correct,
Okay.
right? We
But the,
didn't adopt that.
but the
part.
duties
Not
of,
yet.
if our administrative
Yeah.
clerk is not
We gotta
here,
put that
then-
whole thing in
then the
there.
village clerk is required to be here, is that what's written down there? or- I mean, if Cindy's absent,
this
has
is
to run the
confusing
hospital or
now.
something, then who does the minutes here?
Jay,
Oh, okay.
the secretary.
Well, actually,
So we're
that's
covered
why
there.
we brought Cindy in.
So she just wants to be removed from the bylaws?
Yes,
Okay, I make a motion we remove her from the bylaws.
yes.
Okay.
All in favor of removing village clerk from that language?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Okay.
Nobody. You know, technically, okay, we've done that. We've changed the time. We have Article 5, Article 6. We can remove those.
Now, I'm sorry,
Put those
Sergeant.
in.
At the planning commission, I did say last meeting that we did
I don't like
approve
the way these tables are.
Article 6 and Article 5.
You put in 5 and 6.
That's correct?
Article
Thank you.
5 and 6, not
yeah.
section,
Yeah, those
not
you-
section.
Yeah, you don't,
We don't need this.
yeah, you don't need that.
Okay, article, not section, 5 and 6 is all about our budget and expenditures, and we don't really have a budget.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Have we ever discussed a budget? I don't think we have.
The village establishes your budget as part of our general fund. and
Yeah.
That's where
But-
the salary is that pays Cindy, comes out of that. There's also a small for postage. It's not a large budget. It might be a couple of $1,000s.
Okay.
But
Can
is
I-
that a,
Now, in the past, I think that
Yeah,
the
it's
chair
not-
would submit something to the village,
Okay, well, that's
to
not.
the council,
Okay, we don't-
or to your office, as far as the needs of what they're looking for, I think. That's why she was on, I'm sorry, Cindy. Cindy was on that list at one time, so. I think if there's anything that this
Well, that
board
was
needs, such
council,
as
though.
not vacation, but travel to conferences, that should be submitted to council.
Right, you would just, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the expenditure, depending on where the threshold is, typically education and travel expenses are monitored by Catherine. She approves those just to make sure that it's in the budget. So the request would probably just come into the village hall, either to myself or Catherine for approval for that. Just like if you were needing Mark Clark to assist you in reading or drafting an ordinance or some other language review, technically, you don't have the authority to spend the money yourself as a board, but you can make the request, and we budget that money so
I'm
that
gonna
there's
go
funds
over
there to do those
this
things.
with
that
you
need.
top to bottom.
So when we get bills
I
from Mark,
haven't
then we
done
charge it back
questions
to the planning commission
And I don't
in
think
that
it's-
department.
Also, I'm glad you brought that part up, is I think that Mr. Cassian's doing a
I
good
mean,
job.
I'm not talking about your
And
suggestions or anything like
To
that.
include him in an overall job description, do we need to make a recommendation from this budget and pass it to council?
You already did that. It was your motion.
It was the motion to hire him for the
You're right now.
master plan.
That was Mr. Granstad's motion for the master plan, and your motion at village council to retain the services of Steve Casson as planner under his contract with the retainer. I looked it up.
I'll have to review that. Okay.
Ready.
So the recommendation for this board for the master plan work, that was Mr. Granstad's motion.
Well, I'm on the same track then.
And the motion
'Cause I think
for
it's-
council to
dated,
retain the
so I know where I'm
services under retainer
Okay.
was your motion.
All right, because I think he's doing a good job. Sorry to do that.
Okay, any other business anybody wants to bring up? No? Anybody want to make the motion?
Oh, I will make the motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody ever opposed, say aye.
Oh, shit, you know.